Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovias inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Don't burn yourself.
I'm going to. I gotta wake up.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
We're dragging last night. As I was leaving the house, Kelly was like, "So did last night count as today's podcast?" I'm like, "Oh no,
no.
Last night,
Especial.
that's an after dark. Which shout out to people who jumped on the live show last night on YouTube and checked out the podcast this morning. The response to that has been pretty good, so we're gonna keep on doing it, even on Giglio's birthday. How people have been asking for drunk Giglio.
I know.
And now
people, I gotta get to my birthday.
People been demanding drunk post-game Giglio. Well, folks, Thursday night.
There's potential.
Thursday night, there is potential for drunk Giglio because it is your birthday. The Canes play on Thursday with the potential to go up 3-0 in this series. Can you handle it?
I don't know.
Because you're all like, because we're going to be at Longleaf on Thursday, starting at 1:00, special 1:00 show for your birthday. And last night up in the press box, you were like, I hope you can do the show without me because I'm going to be drinking and playing We Go Golf. I'm like, buddy, we still got to do a show. Sorry. But you've now doubled down. You wanted to do these after parties. So it's time, Joe.
To pay the piper is what you're saying.
Birthday after dark. Let's go.
Best way to pay the piper is to save money with Copiers Plus. Copiers-plus.com. That's number one. Best way. Number two, Eford Studios, downtown, Empire Eats, Empire Properties. Come on down. See us. We have a flag on the video board now. Our logo.
We do.
When you walk into our building.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
That's new.
I know.
I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited about hockey. Even though I'm tired, it was worth it last night. Last night was a hell of a lot of fun at PNC Arena. I'm still kind of processing what we watched last night.
It was wild.
And I go back to the conversation that we had with Luke DeCock last night, where the Canes have it in them in their playoff history, where they have these moments, right? He referenced the shock at the Rock in 2009, that improbable 2009 run to the Eastern Conference Finals where they eventually got swept by the Penguins. And then in 2006, you've got the Molson, the miracle at Molson and everything else. I'm funny. I meant to text Eric Cole to be like, so getting the same vibes from last night, that sort of thing. I'll do that later.
This one was the first one that happened at home.
Yes. And that's what made it pretty wild last night. We've seen some pretty crazy things like multiple overtime games at PNC Arena. You go back to 2002, the Stanley Cup final against Detroit.
Last year.
Didn't go their way. Last year, same situation. So to see that last night in the building and people not leaving, right? I mean, I left so I could get back to the studio in time. But people were not, they were down 3-1, kind of disappointed with the game was going. The Canes didn't look like they were going to be able to bury it. People stuck around and it, got the payoff after the fact. And after the game, Seth Jarvis and Jordan Martinook were at the podium. You were in the locker room yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But at the podium, they brought up Seth Jarvis and Jordan Martinook, and our friend Aaron Beard, Associated Press, got the questions going.
You were one of several guys that hit the post tonight, that one late in the second. And how do you sort of, in line with that, kind of not let it go to your mind thinking this is not our night when you guys kept coming up right on the edge and not getting a couple of those through and you're fighting uphill all night?
I say a few choice words to myself to just get the anger out, and then it's just a mental reset. I mean, we have guys like Marty. I think Kuzi was huge for us, just talking all night, keeping us calm, composed. Just older guys that don't let us get too flustered. I mean, we could go off the deep end a little bit, but I think they did a really good job of just kind of keeping everyone in it, keeping everyone composed, focused on the moment, and that's ultimately, I think, what really sparked that comeback. Chip, go ahead.
Yeah, Jordan, despite all the late excitement with the late goals, just how important was Seth's score midway through the third to get you within a goal and kind of set that up for that finish?
Yeah, I don't know, you said he's been incredible all year. He's a big game player, and for him to get that one, just to get us going, it felt like we were pushing, but obviously we hadn't scored. So for Jarvie to get that, and it was a beautiful goal, and got the place rocking, and then they didn't really stop from then on out. So it was those are fun games to be a part of, and I'm not going to sleep too good tonight, I don't think.
Corey, Jarvie, if things had gone the other way and it was 1-1, you guys would probably say all the right things. It's a long series, all of that. But winning both games at home in a series when you have home ice, how important is it to take these 2 wins and then go to Long Island knowing that, at worst you're coming back and you still have home ice?
It's huge. I mean, you want to take advantage whenever you can, especially in this building. You want to give the fans a good show. And I think when you can come up with 2 wins in a series that's this tight, it's huge. And now just kind of shifting our focus to Long Island, making sure we're ready to go because they're obviously going to want to win home ice. So just making sure we have the right mentality going in there and trying to close it out, but take it one game at a time.
Luke. Jordan, this franchise over the years has had a history of pulling off some improbable playoff comebacks. It's sort of in the DNA sometimes, it feels like. What does it feel now in the moment to be able to look back and know that this is a game that people are going to talk about, like those games for 5, 10, 20 years?
Well, I still got to kind of come down from it. I think you got to get home and you got to kind of take a deep breath and then maybe watch the highlights, because I was like, when you're in it, you're in it, and you're just sole focus is on the game, and then there's some crazy things happening and game tying goals and and then obviously all the stuff that happens at the end. It's crazy. So you just need to get home, take a deep breath, and maybe rewatch it, because that was a fun one.
So that was Seth Jarvis and Jordan Martinook after the game.
So go back to the beginning.
Mhm.
The Hurricanes, after not playing their game in game 1, they won.
Mhm.
And you figured they're going to come out, we're going to see something closer to the team that ended up with all those wins and all those points.
I thought we saw that.
In the first 15 minutes, the Islanders didn't have a shot.
Yep.
And they were just controlling. I made the joke. It was like Virginia basketball. They're controlling the game. They're dominating, but they just can't score.
Right.
Right. And then I didn't love Kyle Palmieri's goal on a rebound. It was 4-on-4. I thought he had way too much time in front of the goal to try to just sit there and take 13 different swings at it and finally poke it through on Anderson. Now you're down 1-0. Okay, no big deal. Let's just get out of this period. Freddie makes a great save on Bo Horvat on a breakaway. But then with 15 seconds left in the period, Horvat kind of spins and hits one, and you're like, oh, like the whole building was deflated.
Yeah.
Because it's 2-0, and you're going, you just dominated for however long, and now you're down 2 goals. You can't say it's okay. Still win 3-2, right?
Yeah.
Then they come out, they score on a power play goal where Anders Lee, again, you're down a man, but still way too much time to sit there and kind of, pick your spot and move it around, and it's 3-0. And my question to Jordan Stahl was just kind of like what the fuck, right? Like, this is an inferior team that you've dominated, and now it's 3-0 in your building, and you're truly sitting here going, if you lose this game, you're kind of staring at that Rangers series all over again from 2 years ago, where you're like, wait a second, we're better than these guys. Why are we losing to them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then they absolutely, by every single metric there is, they dominate the second period. Unfortunately for them, they only got 1 goal on the power play for Teravainen. Now it's 3-1. Now we get to the point in the press conference where they had asked about Jarvis's goal. Yes, important, makes it 3-2. I got to tell you though, Joe, I'm down. So I went down for the last probably 15 minutes of the game.
That's what you typically do.
And I'm on the ice level and watching this thing, and the building is just starting to really roar. And I thought Aho, you had asked me, and during, I think it was the second intermission.
It was the second intermission.
You were like, do you need to go down and challenge Aho to Mulkey or something? Because
I said,
his competitive juices are not flowing right now.
I think what I told you at second intermission before you went downstairs, I said, tell Aho to imagine a bunch of you on the ice. And
you're not the real Aho.
oh, that really would have set him off. But yeah, just imagine me on the ice. And you know how you like to beat me? Now do that to the Islanders.
So I thought
he stepped up.
I thought obviously it was a pass shot, whatever Svech was doing on that play on Aho's goal to tie the game at 17:45. So that was the one where I was like, and you could see, because Aho came right over to the boards. You see the excitement, you see the little bit of the relief, but you also just see that's when they started to think, okay, not maybe we do have to do this in overtime, but that's when they're thinking, you're not getting out of here.
Yeah.
We got away with whatever those 3 goals were. And then for 9 seconds later, Jordan Martinook to score the game winner. 9 seconds later. Now the place is just molten. Okay. The pandemonium, the volume, just off the charts, right? I think Luke, I think, came up with category 5 to describe all of this. I just tweeted this morning that, their season-long motto has been cause chaos. Well, the chaos was caused last night by the Carolina Hurricanes in that final period in particular, but the flurry at the end. And so now you not only have, the expected outcome was the Carolina Hurricanes going into the night, we're going to win the game.
Yeah, but not
cool.
Yeah,
right.
It didn't go to the script.
For all those poor people who had the Islanders plus a goal and a half, I feel for you, for real.
Well,
don't ever gamble. Okay,
it's funny,
and we'll get into a little bit of that.
Yeah,
but to wrap up the point, you sit here and think, going into the game, the Canes are going to win. So what? No, when you win a game like that, it propels you. And this is a journey. We've talked about it as the season began. They had Mike Krzyzewski there explaining to them, you have the opportunity to win this thing. And there aren't many teams who go into a year knowing that and believing that. And you have to have the confidence that you can do that. And now, after winning 2 very different games, you have to feel, and still with, I know Jarvis Anaho scored in the third period, but that wasn't like what we saw at the end of the regular season, the way that those things were clicking. So you have more. And even with Freddie giving up the 3 goals, he has more. And that's a great place to be in if you're the Carolina Hurricanes.
Ryan Brindamore talked to the press last night, talking about leadership, maybe the older guys, and then no real update on Brett Pesce, who went out at the second intermission, did not return to the ice with a lower body concern.
Rob, Marty mentioned that Kuznetsov and some of the other sort of older guys were kind of talking through that, on the bench through the sequence. Could you hear that kind of conversation among the players about sticking to it? And for you as a coach and as a former captain, do you feed off that too when you hear your guys talking like that?
Well, that's when you know you got to, we know we have a good group, and I'm always harping on them, but it certainly helps when they're getting the message and they're the ones doing it. So I think there's a pretty good understanding in here, the way we want to play, and especially when you hear the new guys that have just come in, they're jumping on it. That's what you want to hear.
Ryan, can you tell us an update on Pesce?
Yeah, that's not looking good. He's going to go get looked at tomorrow. So that's the big negative of tonight, for sure.
So again, that was Rod Brindamore after the game.
Break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hill.
You know what helps with being tired? Protein.
Good base,
but you've had coffee, great. But sometimes you just need some good old-fashioned protein to give you some energy. You go to Happy and Hill for lunch today.
The Burnsy Bowl.
Burnsy Bowl's got plenty of protein. They even got a protein bowl if you want to go straight up on that. But yes, go get the Burnsy Bowl at Happy and Hill. Plenty of options. Location at North Hills. The North Hills location is
by the park. It's by the Harris Teeter, that side of the river.
Yeah, so you go, you got the big courtyard area with the stage and all that other stuff. It's on the other side where that parking lot is. There's some construction there, but the Happy and Hail is right there. Great lunch spot. Location off Six Forks as well. And of course, Durham. And we thank them for helping us out during our Canes coverage. And of course, section 123 at the arena. They got a cart where you can get the Burnsy Bowl, which is very, very key. Very, very key. So yeah, as of this recording, we don't know what's going on with Pesce.
It looked like Pesce had injured his foot.
Yeah.
To me, on Anders' Lee goal. I mentioned Lee had a lot of time, make a sandwich, do all these things. Pesce strained, and it did look like either someone stepped on his foot or there was definitely contact there. And I think he tried to make a go of it after that.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when it was like, this could be a...
So you were saying
that could be an ankle turn, a foot turn. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be one of those pretty serious ones.
You were saying that you were kind of feeling it for Islanders fans.
Oh, +1.5. I'm feeling it for them. Yes.
So my brother sent this to me, and I am not. Pardon if you are somebody who listens to Barstool. I apologize. I am not versed in the Barstool lore.
The USGA loves Barstool, so they can have them. If you take the logo off the screen, I will make some additional comments, but probably best for us to continue.
I feel like that's a podcast for later. We'll save that one. Put that one in the chamber. We'll save that one for later. No, but yeah, I'm not exactly versed in the Barstool lore, but I guess there's one of their guys that has a pizza place in Long Island called Borelli's.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's been around for a long time. I went to the website. It's been around since 1955. apparently had a live stream of the crowd at Borelli's watching this game, and they just highlighted how's this put on the Barstool Gambling. Borelli's is absolutely stunned. Isles blow a 3-0 lead. Carolina now leads 4-3. Carolina scored 2 goals in 9 seconds, and this is the footage of the restaurant where everybody's just kind of sitting there in stunned silence, and they don't know what to say. And I think this is hilarious. I think this is fantastic. It gives me Kentucky, Carolina, Luke May shot. Everybody in the bar just goes, "What did we just see?" And hold on. Whoa. I gotta go back. Hold on a second. If you're watching on YouTube, I gotta go back and isolate this one guy. If Elon Musk's wonderful website actually wants to play video, but there was a guy wearing your favorite Gorton's Fisherman.
It's like a badge at this point.
Yeah, it is kind of a badge at this point. It's so old and corny that it's cool again. You can wear it unironically, I guess. Anyway, I guess the video doesn't want to work anymore, but there was a guy that I wanted to isolate because he looked like he had seen a ghost. He had seen some things.
Yeah,
he had seen some things.
While
man.
I'm dismissive of the Islanders, they have played well. They did play well down the stretch under Patrick Waugh.
Sure.
So, and obviously in this game, to have the 3-0 lead and to feel like you're in a position to win the game and get out of there, again, they don't care which game they win on the road. You just know you have to win one on the road.
The way that game ended, in the catastrophic fashion it did for the Islanders, and the way that they handled themselves after the game, I think the Canes are going to win the series. I think
they completely unraveled in the last 2 minutes.
The question is based on how they ended that game and how broken they were. Does this go from my initial thought of it'll be a gentleman's sweep, the Islanders will win one at home, Canes will come back for Game 5 and wrap things up, or do the Canes now kind of lock in on what they saw last night and get, because they were, I heard this a couple of times. Jordan Martinook said it to Bally Sports last night. I think he said it in the press setting. I don't know if Jordan Stahl said it to you last night, but they wanted to keep playing. Like, all right, let's go.
Right.
I want to get back at this. They want to just put an end to this Islanders series. They don't want to drag it out like they did last year.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with the Islanders.
Sure.
I am. They should have won Game 1. They should have won last night.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a switch to be flipped there. Did they lose their cool? Obviously, at the end of this game, yes. I mean, there's no doubt. But a lot of that is the way that the Canes were not only believing in each other, but feeding off of the crowd and sensing again the concept of stealing a game and putting yourself back or keeping yourself on schedule, if you will. But I mean, it would not surprise me if they came out blazing hot. If the Islanders came out blazing hot on Thursday night, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Okay, because
this isn't. And we haven't even seen Barzal score yet. By the way,
no,
he's like the only guy who's ever scored against the Canes ever.
Right.
I've covered way too many Canes Islanders games for the AP, and every time it's like Matthew Barzal had 15 goals, and it's like, who's supposed to be checking this guy, right? So that's where remember last year that they get away from Stahl. And I know, as Mike Mascalco pointed out last night, a lot of that, Sebastian Aho has done a great job on Barzal defensively so far in these first 2 games. But you got to realize that he's going to have some of his moments too. And I think those are more likely to happen on their home ice, where Waugh can keep him away from either Stahl or keep him away from Aho at this point.
So I need an honest response from you.
Okay.
Does it bother you that I just look at sports wagering as a complete silly thing to do, have some fun with it, go, oh, Canes are plus 520 on the live in game?
No, that was actually a smart play.
For the money line, they were down 3-0. I'm like, you know what? F it. Let's put $5 down. And then I actually cashed out on it.
No. That was a smart play.
Okay.
The pregame and even the pregame one, I
got the pregame one. I made $60 last night off two bets. Let's go.
No, I don't like a lot of the things that the Duke fans do, but when they do you let the whole team down, I feel like I did.
How did you?
I feel like I did. My under obviously doesn't come home in a game where it's 5-3.
Yeah.
And then the Stars, my pick to win the West, lose Game 1 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the hell? What are you doing? So I need to rebound today. I'm going to give you an early baseball game today. The Guardians are at home taking on the Red Sox. I have the Guardians on the money line today.
All right. I haven't really messed around with baseball yet.
I enjoy baseball gambling, and you probably would too, because it's purely vibes, man.
Sure.
Hey, what happened last night? Hey, who's pitching?
Has
hey,
nothing to
what
do.
time is the game start? Hey, you can give me all of this analysis, lefties and righties and this and that. Baseball pitching now, especially, buddy, it's just a vibe. It's a one big vibe check.
So I put some NBA bets down last night, and it was one of these no sweat parlays.
Okay. I was gonna say I've already given up on the NBA, so just so you know, I've already tapped out.
You're just done with that. So I ended up getting $25 back in a bonus bet because my 6-leg parlay did not hit last night with the Lakers and the Nuggets.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to use my $25 bonus bet on. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to use my $25 bonus bet on a 3-leg parlay tonight for the Rangers and the Capitals, where I've got the Capitals money line first period.
Whoa.
Oh yeah,
The Capitals
tonight. Going Capitals tonight. The old men have one in them. They've got one
in the Garden.
Yes, they got one in them. I believe so. Capitals money line.
Is this a no risk or
No? Yeah, it's silly money.
Okay.
So Capitals money line, first period money line, and over 1.5 total goals. I'm going to put that down. That's a $10 bonus bet, actually, not 25. I forgot how much money I put down last night. That'll get me $55.
Capitals
when it happens tonight. Let's go, Joe. I'm feeling it.
There you are. You're live. I feel it in my plums.
I can feel it in my plums. The chase for the cup is on, and if you're looking to light the lamp, nothing beats the action at DraftKings Sportsbook. Shout out to the people who saw my tweet and said, "You know what? Joe's got a good idea."
Chris. Mm-hmm.
And they backed it up on that. So head on over to DraftKings, use that promo code OG24. New customers that bet $5 get $200 in bonus bets instantly. And because we are in peak hockey mode, all North Carolina customers can place a pregame moneyline bet on Carolina. And if they lead by at least 2 goals at any time during the game, you win. How'd that work out last night? Even if they end up losing the game, which they did not do. So head on over to DraftKings, use that promo code OG24. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. 1 early win per opted-in customer. Max bet limits apply. Token expires at the start of the game. See dkng.co/ice for wagering eligibility and terms. Housekeeping brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online, ENOVANA.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
And I cannot recommend Enovana enough at this time of the year because with all that oak pollen, all that stuff you're dragging into the house, things just get dirty. You have rain over the weekend, you're dragging that stuff into the house. You can do a one-time cleaning. You can set up recurring cleanings. They got a great website. It's locally owned. They do a fantastic job. And again, you can check them out online at enovana.com. Couple housekeeping notes. Mentioned it earlier. Longleaf Swine, 1 o'clock.
Thursday, 1 o'clock. We have We Go Golf there. I'm going to beg Adam for a chicken pot pie during lunch too.
Perfect. We also have the birthday bash for the show. It's a big week for us.
Yes, Friday, May 3rd.
Big week for us this week. And then another big week the following week. We'll be at Shady's in Garner on May 3rd. We've got bourbon that we are raffling off. We have is that Seth Jarvis tape only going up in value?
That it's, again, if you are any kind of collector, you understand the concept of a one of one.
Yes.
Right? And we'll show you the video. This is obviously Seth Jarvis signing the playlist that he made for the Carolina Hurricanes last year. So going into this season, Joe had a great idea to put an actual physical mixtape together, and then he signed it, and it even has a crack in it. So it's beautifully authenticated.
It's super authentic.
But this is what you need to do to be in this raffle. We have movie theater popcorn this thing. And we want you to come and celebrate with us, obviously, but you do not have to be there to win. So if you Venmo me, Gilio Joe, You get 1 ticket for $25. You get 3 tickets for $50. You get 6 tickets for $100. That puts you in the raffle for the tape,
Mm-hmm.
the sign, and it's not. We're not gonna have all the bourbon, but we'll have Weller's. We'll have
We'll have a lot
Eagle
of bourbon.
Rare.
Yeah.
We'll have. Well, you're giving away one of the Colonels, but we'll have a Colonel. There'll be a Buffalo Trace. So we have a lot of great bourbon that is easily worth even the 6 purchase of tickets.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Not to mention you're helping support us,
Which is good.
on our birthday.
Yeah, which is good.
So everybody wins. So please buy those raffle tickets and then come see us Friday, May 3rd, Shady's. We'll start around 6.
Yeah. We'll
Very
have trivia.
Super cash.
Super casual thing.
And there's a food truck out there thanks to our friends at Breeze Through.
Yes, at Breeze Through. Big thanks to Whitaker and Hammer who are letting us use Shady's.
Josh is shady. Yes.
Yes. So he's not shady. He has Shady's.
Josh is Shady's.
Yes, Josh is Shady's.
Yes.
So go to wh.lawyer, go support them, attorneys and counselors at law. And as you mentioned, Breeze Through is going to provide the food truck, Oak City Grill. But right now they could provide the coffee.
Yes, please.
You're going
More.
to be needing all the coffee. Although I think Adam popped in the YouTube chat last night and said gas station cigarettes after that one. I was like, yeah, man, you might need some gas station cigarettes after that. Check them out online at breezethrough.com. And big thanks to Nature's Relief. Honestly, I need to go to Nature's
chill.
Right. No,
Get a little sleep.
I honestly needed to go. I need to go to Nature's Relief and get some more of that CBDN or the CBN, the stuff that helps you sleep, a little deeper sleep.
Yep.
Because I was too amped up last night after last night's game and wrapping up the podcast and putting it out there. I'm getting online. I'm like, everybody's like, what are people saying? What's going on? I was way too amped up. Nature's Relief can kind of help you out with that stuff. So head on over to naturesreliefhempstore.com. Relief is spelled like a tree leaf. LEAF. Nature's Relief Hempstore.com. Do this. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Right Time is the podcast. He is Bomani Jones, where I'm sure he is steeped in Rangers Islanders talk right now in New York City. It's hockey time.
I knew the Rangers were. Like, I live in New York City. The Islanders might as well be in Philadelphia. That's a whole nother place over there.
Yeah, man, it was a pretty exciting night over at PNC Arena when they came back from a 3-1 deficit with 3 goals in 80 seconds. So I'm just guessing that, all your Islanders friends are all just in their feelings right now.
The only Islanders friend I think I have is Damian Woody, and I don't even really have his phone number. I feel like we need to call. I feel like the Islanders logo needs to be like an airplane because they're the flighters. They got on that flight, that Vuelo Blanco. And took their asses out there to Long Island. Like, I don't even think it's right that they allowed to put New York in front of that.
They tried at Barclays for a hot minute.
They did. And then they found out those people didn't move out to Long Island to come to Brooklyn.
No. But what's funny, I'm imagining that not a single thing is being discussed in New York right now other than the Knicks. I mean, be all Knicks right now, right?
Yeah, I'm sure the hockey teams are being discussed by people who don't want to talk to me. I mean, not to say that they all don't want to talk to me, but I'm telling you, a lot of the people, I be seeing, like, I was out the other day when there was a Rangers game, and I'm walking over on 34th Street, not too far from Madison Square Garden, and it's just a totally different place when the Rangers are playing, because then people got to come from so far to watch the games, because they don't live around here no more. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And so they going to show up, they going to have lunch, they might have dinner after, they going to do the whole nine if they got to come to the city. They going to pay $75 to park the car.
Were you saying no Rangers fans are going bing bong on the side talk? Is that what you're telling me?
I get the feeling that they are. It's not that there's a disconnect between who's a Rangers fan and who's a Knicks fan. It's a disconnect between who's willing to pay money to go watch the Rangers versus go watch the Knicks.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you saying draft talk in New York right now?
It could be.
Yeah,
I mean, the NFL still is a thing, Joe.
It is.
I mean, look, the thing with the Giants in particular is just how long are the Giants going to try to trick us into thinking they're not going to get a quarterback?
Yeah.
And are they willing to draft a black one, which they basically demonstrated that they are not through the history of their franchise.
Probably.
Are they willing to do that? Or are they going to stick with y'all's man for another year?
Now, here's my question about, you say y'all's man. I'm assuming you're talking about Drake May. That's our guy right
Oh,
now.
I forgot about that guy. I was talking about Duke's old Daniel
Yeah,
Jones.
Daniel
But
Jones.
yeah,
No.
Drake May. Let me tell you something. Nothing should terrify people more than he the white dude in this draft, right?
Yeah.
And teams are running away from him like the plague.
But I don't understand.
Something is wrong here, and I just don't know what it is.
But here's the thing. But what do they see in Drake May that they don't see in Josh Allen? What do they see in Drake May that they don't see in, say, Joe Burrow? I don't understand I don't understand the disconnect right now with Drake May.
You guys watched him more than I did, but I can't figure out why now they're running away from him in the way they are, but not say in the way that they ran away from Sam Howell, where you ultimately saw it and were like, oh, okay, this guy's probably like a 5th round pick, even though people had talked about him as a 1st round pick at other points. Drake May is full on, looks the part, everything you said. Like, if you were into Josh Allen, I'm not exactly sure why you're not into what seems to be a more refined version of him, at least physically, right? Big 6'3", 6'4", 250-pound dude, and everybody's running away, right? Like, Jayden Daniels, to me, is like, I don't know about that one. He looks like he'll get hurt a lot. You know, like, I can't, that's why I'm floored by what's happening with him.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for it. I just think he'll be, I'll say it again, keep saying it.
Yeah.
I think he'll be like Phillip Rivers.
Well,
I think he'll play for, 10, 12, 15 years in the NFL and be just fine.
Oh, Bo, you're missing out, man. I mean, it's a wonderful time to be in the triangle.
And he's working with Phillip Rivers.
Right.
I keep forgetting.
Drake May is being mentored by Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
Dontrez Styles, Kinston Guy went from UNC to Georgetown to NC State.
Yeah. State's first Kinston player since the original Shaq.
State went to the damn Final Four. What the hell? You're missing out.
Final Four, that really happened.
It did happen.
It
Bo.
did.
It did happen.
It did happen. And Duke is bringing in an incredibly talented, obnoxious Caucasian next year. It's 1985 all over again, baby.
Yeah, man. We're living back in the 80s here. Now, the thing about the thing about Drake May that is interesting, I was listening to Tyler Dunn's podcast, the Go Long podcast. We're supposed to talk to Tyler tomorrow, but he said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he was talking to a guy with the Bears, and he just kind of floated the idea of like, okay, I get it, Caleb Williams, but why is this a foregone conclusion? Like, why wouldn't you even kick the tires on Drake May? And the guy in the Bears organization said, paraphrasing here, but it essentially was, he's just another Mitch Trubisky. And I'm like, what are these people watching?
Wow.
It's the same mindset that CJ Stroud ends up going behind Bryce Young last year.
Yeah.
Right? There hasn't been a good Ohio State quarterback, so he's going, automatically that means he's going to suck. So,
yeah,
I kind of understand the group mentality. I don't get these people like Merrill Hodge who are watching Drake May and like breaking down film and acting like he's some sort of like, oh, I'm like Gozar the Keymaster and I see the footwork is all askew and he's going to get fired.
But there's certain of it.
Right. Right.
Because look, one thing I will say, and there are, honestly, I was going to say there are exceptions, but really the one exception I can think of is Lamar Jackson. But if there's a guy who they say, take Dak Prescott, right? They said he was going to be a 4th round pick. He turned out to be a 4th round pick, and he exceeded expectation. You might do okay with that guy. But if people are out here talking about somebody as being a 1st round pick and you watch them slide, there is a reason. We may not know what the reason is. Dwayne Haskins is my classic example. Rest in peace on that one. But the fact that I thought it was crazy that the Giants took Daniel Jones over him, but after the Giants did that and then nobody jumped up, they were like, fine, let the Commandos have him. I was like, ooh, guys, this may not be the thing.
Yeah, Dwayne Haskins threw a bunch of screen passes, so I kind of understood, some of the thought process there. But, the thing that I'm sitting here watching Drake, and maybe you can add some light on this, Bo, I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's Steph Curry. What I'm saying is you have these two exceptional people in these individual sports who come from really good bloodlines. I think Drake May comes from a really good bloodline.
He gets it.
And I think there's something to that at least. That part of it's being completely dismissed.
Skyhawks legend Mark May.
Right. But the brothers and everybody else.
I know. Luke May. I mean, Luke May's hitting big shots on Kentucky, all that stuff. Yeah, I get all that stuff. He comes
those two are actually kin. I would just been assuming.
Oh yeah.
The crazy thing about Drake is he doesn't look like his pops or Luke.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have those crazy eyebrows. He's got his mom's eyebrows.
Wow. So he is by far the second most popular of his brothers on campus.
Here's the thing about it.
For a while there, he was, and then when you don't show up against NC State, it becomes a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, and it is kind of a weird.
And maybe that's it. Maybe there's a bunch of State fans out there now.
No, well, here's
that's
the thing.
what it is. Like, he sucked against State. Like, we're not taking him.
Well, what's funny about that is if Drake May were a State quarterback, there would be flooding the zone of coverage when it comes to Drake May. The QBU, here's this lineage. You got Phillip Rivers. We'll claim Russell Wilson for this conversation. Hey, Jacoby Brissett's had a really nice career. So, like, all these things would play out. But at Carolina, the football vibes are so off. Where, I mean, poor Mac Brown this past weekend for his spring game went what's your favorite thing to do from hearing from the old athletes? I'm in the best shape of my life. And Mac Brown apparently this weekend said, we got the best coaching staff since I've been here. I'm like, oh, Mac, no.
Buddy, I got to say, it took me a little while to finally be right about that one, but I was.
I
warned you.
But maybe Drake May's stock is going to go back up because of the latest draft trend. Last year was all about a video game. It was about the S2 cognitive test.
Okay.
This year, it's about how are you at Topgolf? You've heard about this, right?
No.
Oh. So the Washington Commanders apparently took all the QBs to Topgolf. Now, Drake, Carolina guy, he golfs. I mean, heck, they got
Carolina guy. That's what we're attributed to that one. Carolina guy.
Hey, Finley's right there. I mean, they got a golf course.
Fair. Fair.
So Drake May had a good time. Loved it. Did an interview with Kevin Clark on This Is Football podcast where he's just having a good old time. Enjoyed it. Jaden Daniels reportedly hated the idea of being with all other quarterbacks in like a group setting. But you know what? I felt that from Jaden Daniels. That's like the classic corporate retreat. Like, all right, let's get all your coworkers together that you don't exactly see eye to eye with, but hey, it's time for family forced fun time.
I think Jaden Daniels is Kenny Pickett. I think he's an old guy who racked up big numbers. And what game did he show up in this year for LSU? I'm curious because I watched the Florida State game and I'm still waiting. He dove and nearly got himself impaled. Yeah. That's what I remember from that game.
He reportedly doesn't want to go to Washington, and poor guy. So what?
So what, man?
Like, if you're willing to go back, and just be out here doing pull-ups for a year, that's fine, right? And look, it might be worth it, but that's how bad that brand has gotten over there. He's like, nah, y'all can have that.
Which is weird because they changed their ownership and everything. You think by now that the stink would be off the Washington team, but apparently not.
Well, apparently they wanted everybody to go to Top Golf together. He was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, it's like, all right, guys, we're going to go to this cool bowling spot, and we're all going to hang out. And I'm like, no, I'm here for about
Caleb Williams even bother to show up?
No, I don't think he did. Where's the report? I have to go back and find the report. They had 4 quarterbacks show up, and Drake May loved it.
I get that it's boring, but at what point will the quarterback conversation be? If they get with the right coach, anybody can work.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm. This is what's blowing my mind. Like, to completely dismiss somebody the way that they have Drake May is to be like, oh well, Bo and I like to have this argument a little bit about Andy Reid. And I mean, I thought Andy Reid was pretty good before Patrick Mahomes. He just so happens to be off the charts now with Patrick Mahomes. But I don't look at it like someone is destined for failure. I look at it like you have to be with the right play call, or you have to be with the right parts around you, and that's what we're seeing right here in Carolina with Bryce Young. And what can the new guy do? Can he save him? Can he save him, quote unquote, same way?
He's also destined for failure. Like, some guys just are destined for failure. Some guys aren't destined for failure, and they get ushered there by bad coaching. I said about Bryce Young on my podcast the other day, and Mina said this is the most patronizing thing I could say about somebody, but I said the little homie out here doing his best. And I do feel as though the little homie is out here doing his best, but the best the little homie can do is to be a little homie. And I just don't. I mean, the numbers were so bad last year, and the comp that kept coming up was Josh Rosen, and I'm now officially scared off.
Yeah. The best thing you can say about Bryce Young is that the coaching staff was so broken last year that he never really had a fair shake at it. And we'll see how Dave Canales can scheme something up for Bryce Young. We shall see.
He is a munchkin, and you are hoping for someone to, as Bo is pointing out, to be the exception to the rule, which is a little bit of a fool's errand. I will say this, though, for Bryce Young, Bo, and maybe Caleb Williams got a little bit of a taste of it this year, even though there's still a lot of talent around him. My primary concern with Bryce Young was he was a sunny day player at Alabama. You got the best offensive line. You got the best coach. Now they didn't have that great of receivers around him necessarily, but it's a sunny day. You're playing everything on schedule. Everything's great. You get to the Panthers now, you went through a whole year where it is one shit sandwich after another being force fed to you. And how do you handle it? Right? I'll give him credit. He got through it.
Yeah.
And so now maybe there's something in the middle where you could see like, hey, let me do some things that actually help you work.
Well,
Like, I think that's what one of the Panthers' biggest problems last year is like, let's just put this undersized quarterback in the shotgun and let's play a read option as if he's a threat to outrun everybody like he's Cam Newton. Like, it was embarrassing watching what they tried to do with him last year.
And if that happens, like North Turner had Teddy Bridgewater out there running the zone read at some point, right? They just can't help themselves. But and I say this sincerely, like you hope best case scenario for somebody like Bryce Young with that size and everything. And honestly, with his skill set, you hope he turns into Drew Brees, right?
Yeah.
Which is a lot to ask for. The highest endest game manager there's ever been. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that the Drew Brees game is executing at an extremely high level. It's not going to be make it happen. But can he do what Drew Brees seemed to do? You know what I'm saying? With all that trying to get a little longer. Wow, look at me. I look terrible doing this.
Yeah, don't
you know.
I was going to say, I was listening to the podcast yesterday. You were already kind of in your head about if Kevin Durant is skinny, then what am I? So, it's just you want to work out. Speaking of the, I was driving around yesterday. I had to do a bunch of like dad life stuff, taking the kids to the dentist, and then there was a broken braces bracket that I had to go get fixed. And driving around, whatever. I'm listening to the podcast, and you hit a point where you seem to be working through some. You don't have kids, but you know people with kids and they're teenagers now. And I believe you said something to the effect of some of you need to smack your kids, smack the shit out of your kids. To which it actually, thank you for the conversation starter, because Caleb, my older son, looked at me and he said, "Dad, do you want to smack the shit out of me?" And I said, "Yes, man. There have been times. There have been times." Jacob, who's about to be 13, asked, I'm like, "Not yet, buddy. Not yet." But if I may air check you for a second.
He's got notes, Bo.
Just for a second. I have notes. I have notes. Just for a second. I've noticed a trend. I've noticed a pattern, and I think you and I are on the same page here. And I wrote down Bo's having the "we were there" problem, in that there's conversations taking place about a variety of issues, whether it's sports or pop culture related, and people are trying to tell you it was one way when we actually lived it, and we're here to tell you, no, it was not that way. And I'm dealing that with my own 16-year-old, where he's listening to some like alt music from back in the day. And he's like, "Oh man, this is like the greatest 90s band of all time." I'm like, "Buddy, they never got out of the buzz bin on MTV at 2 a.m. So cool that you've discovered them, but no, these were the biggest bands, not this band." I think you had tweeted something about like, what's the best sophomore album? And somebody had put Nas's sophomore album ahead of Public Enemy. And it's like, y'all weren't there. And it is a very relatable thing as we get older. And we are now the people who are kind of gatekeeping how things used to be.
Yes, we are. We're there. And I wanted to be clear. Only reason I said that some of y'all need to slap the shit out of your kids is just the idea that I just feel like they got a level of disrespect that is not like it's a generation of being cool with these kids in a way. And so I see Anthony Edwards out here calling Kevin Durant an old ass N-word. And I mean, Anthony Edwards is black enough that he can say whatever he wants, at least with regard to the last word. But his old ass thing is where I draw the line. And these little jokers out in here in our faces calling us old. You need to hope to get old. And it's just all because remember when we used to call them sir? Right?
Yeah.
Remember we used to say sir? Do you make your kids call anybody sir? No, you don't. So you're going to have to make up for some lost time and smack the shit out of them so he understands what adulthood really is. And adulthood is control. Adulthood is dominion. Adulthood is running this. Adulthood deserves to get some credit from these disrespectful little kids. That's all I'm saying. Like, we got to somehow, some way, we got to reinstill respect and some measure of hierarchy, because then y'all wondering why these sorry kids is getting out in their lives and they never leave your house.
I was going to say, Joe, I know you've had multiple conversations with your kids of you're getting out of the damn house. Dude, I'm having that conversation with Caleb all the time. I'm like, dude, I don't care what college you go to, but you're going to college. Get the hell out of the house.
Or maybe you don't go to college, but you're getting out of the house.
Well, I do tell him that the 529 plan, it's for him unless he doesn't go to college, and then it's for me and Kelly. Like, we're going to get that mountain house. Thank you very much.
Look, all I'm saying is this, and this is just where I get lost in this. Maybe I'm a little bit confused, right?
Yeah.
But I would hope that what I'm doing would be too loud to do it in my parents' house. That's what I would prefer at
Yeah.
that point in my life. But again, it's a new generation of parents. They letting them bring the little breezies up in the crib, and I don't, not even with like a basement apartment setup. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't imagine being at that age and wanting to live in the house with my parents. I don't care how much it costs.
Oh, you mean that when the girlfriend is over and you hear them talking for a good 30 minutes and then suddenly things get quiet while you're in the living room, you go, hey now.
Yeah.
Hey,
You
nah,
think you're fooling right now?
nah. This is why you need to get your license.
It.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, pump up the jams.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, there's that. Yeah, tell your brother to get Family Guy really cranking really loud back there. That way you can hear
Wow,
him.
this is the funniest episode of Modern Family ever. Ha ha ha. Let's say it probably ain't got no laugh track.
No,
They
it
gonna know
doesn't.
you're not laughing.
It doesn't. Now, but the it was funny because I struggle with this from time to time, of like trying to understand where they're coming from. And Joe, I know you do that too. Like you're trying to like, okay, what music I don't want to know what music they're listening to because I'm trying to be down. I'm just trying to listen to like, okay, what is it that you're into? And I've had moments where I think Ken Carson is this rapper that has gotten popular as of late. So I watched his Coachella set just to see what this dude was about. And I yelled at Caleb, yelled at him, get in here. It's like, what? And Ken Carson's got like his music is completely just blasting. It's a terrible mix. He's yelling into the mic. I'm like, this is the shit you're into? This is the shit. This is what it is. He's like, oh no, just go to it. I'm like, stop it.
Is he black?
Yeah.
Okay, just check it. You can never know. But I'm actually more frustrated now with these people in their 40s out here listening to what the kids is listening to. Like I was talking to this 40-something-year-old woman talking about how she want to go to a Megan Thee Stallion concert, and I'm like, for what? What are you doing?
Whoa. Can I go? I would like to go to a Megan. She's coming to PNC Arena.
I mean, not for the music. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to another one.
Me and Joe posted up in section 123 for a Megan Thee Stallion show.
Oh, y'all, no, let me tell you, if you do, y'all might as well go and wear windbreakers because that's the vibe y'all gonna be giving if y'all in there. Like I was talking to somebody else and they was talking about Glorilla, and I'm like, we don't care about the fact that Glorilla can't rap. And she was trying to explain to me that she's got such strong messaging. I'm like, what? Well, there's messaging that a man is not worth stress. Oh boy, she's getting deep.
Oh boy.
Good gracious.
No, that's Taylor Swift who's now getting into the disc game too.
Let me tell you this though. Taylor Swift, nobody will dare write a bad word about a Beyonce record, right? Like the Washington Post were the only people I thought that had anything critical to say about that last Beyonce record, which regardless of how much you like it, opened itself up to criticism in a lot of ways.
Sure.
The Taylor Swift reviews on this last one, and I say this as somebody who's never listened to a note of her music, these reviews were kind of tough, which implies to me that Taylor Swift is in that zone where she can't make good music if she in love.
No, well, the reason why they were, having listened to the album once, lyrically, it is a raw record. And there's a lot of lore that the Swifties are into. You know, it's not all that different than like, say, Kendrick Lamar lore. You know, everybody's got their lore and they get wrapped up in it, and that's what makes them the best, blah, 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 blah. The problem is, and there's artists that have done this in the past, she's not the first one, they get with a producer that they have to break up with. That's the breakup. It's not breaking up with a, you know, some celebrity or Travis Kelce, which whatever. You and Jack Antonoff need to go in separate directions because you're just basically the same song over and over and over again, and it's time for something fresh. Now, she says she's done with this particular era, but we'll see where that goes. But I mean, there's artists like that in the past where they've made good stuff before, but it's kind of run its course and it's time to move in a different direction.
Oh, no, it happens. Like AC/DC, eventually you can't keep making records with Mutt Lange. Like all of those Mutt Lange guys at some point.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson had to move on from Quincy Jones after a point. But I think she's the new Adele. I give this to Adele. Adele's so rich. She's like, I ain't making no music till I'm sad again.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what's going to happen with LeBron's guy? When is that going to happen?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because that's when the record will come out.
Yeah. Oh God. And like, I'm afraid of what those songs will be about. I'm afraid of some of the innuendo that we might get there. What if she hit us with the don't want no itty bitty teeny weeny short man? Except she just, but she wants to be clear. She's just saying he's short. Does anybody else remember that song? I feel like I've never dated myself more in my life than making a reference to short man.
Yeah, we are. Again, it's the theme of the segment here. We're on the old side of things, which is we'll close on this with the Drake beef. It was cute at first. It was cute. But if there's any definition of what new, as you like to say, the new dudes are all about, put it on the record, put it out there. We're good. Now it's turned into like social media memes and AI Tupac. I mean, that. Oh yeah, he brought out AI Tupac, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is really cringy. And people are right. Oh, he's diabolical. Nah, it's kind of embarrassing in my opinion. I mean, am I wrong to think it's embarrassing?
We had an era where that man had a video come out with his meat out, and his fans was complimenting him on his meat, which is to say that, as my man Van Lathan said, he's the God MC in the sense that he is a deity, and people will explain any behavior of the deity as being part of the larger plan, right? Like that's where Drake is on this one. I'm gonna just say this: his enemy that he what he got to do is stop getting into these beefs with old dudes, because Rick Ross' old ass is frying him, right? Yeah. Pusha T's old ass fried him, and Kendrick just sitting around waiting, and he gonna come back and he gonna fry Drake. I thought Drake's song about all them dudes was good, and then Rick Ross came out here calling him a white boy with a picture of one of Hayes' friends, and that is something that I don't think he's gonna be able to overcome.
But he will. That's the thing, because you've said this, that we live in a world where there are no consequences. People have just stopped giving a shit, right? And I think Drake's in that post like consequence world where it doesn't matter if he's doing corny shit. It doesn't matter if he has ghostwriters. It doesn't matter if he has problematic relationships with younger female fans. Any of that stuff, it doesn't matter. It does not matter to people because they've just decided he's the best.
And that's where I blame you parents.
Don't blame me. I'm handling my shit.
Not you in particular, but you understand what I mean.
No, I understand what you mean.
What I mean. If they had a stronger set of values, they'd be standing up for something right now.
I don't think he's wrong.
No, Bo's not wrong. Bo's not wrong. All right, man. I had all these notes about LeBron James and being mad about officiating and various other
LeBron
things.
James, man, it's over. It's over.
It's
Stop.
a wrap.
Look.
He made
He's
the
good
deal,
enough
man.
to play,
Don't
but
ever
not
make the
good
deal.
enough to make it worth his time. That's I am amazed that he continues to do this.
What's the
like? Is he
deal?
really just gonna stick around till he's sorry? I do not get it.
I don't think he's going to do that. But I guess, but
He definitely wants to play with his kid.
But does the kid want to play with him?
Yeah.
Is the kid good enough to play with him? Like, it might be he needs to start hitching his wagon to Bryce. Bryce got a better chance, but Bryce, it's going to be a while for Bryce to get out there, right?
Look at the end of some of these rosters, Bo. He's good enough. He can get out there.
Are you talking about the Nassus? Feels like you're talking about the Nassus. Like, any of these references are about the Nassus.
No, but any of them. I mean, it's all.
He turned it into college, basically, where if you recruit me, you got to recruit my brother, too.
Yeah.
That's totally what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's fine. All good.
No, here's the question.
No, he made the deal. Braun made the deal in the bubble. Give me this one. I'll never ask for anything else again. Give me this. Give me Caleb Love. Give me this shot. I'll never ask for anything ever again.
Yeah.
Not a deal you want to make, Carolina fans. That was a bad idea.
Oh, you were
Caleb
saying
It was a bad idea.
You were saying the Carolina fans.
Tar Heel legend forever.
For
Tar
life.
Heel legend
For
while
life.
playing for Arizona.
For
He
life.
still did Tar Heel legend stuff playing for another team.
He did. And now we have Carolina fans in our mentions talking about there's no K curse. There's no K curse.
We won the golf tournament.
Yeah, Joe and I were up in the PNC press box for the hockey game last night. He shows me a tweet like, so much for that K curse, and it's a golf championship. I'm like, man, you really are going through that state fan phase where you were pumping up like, look what our volleyball team, we got the Directors Cup, let's go.
I'm sorry. If I were a Carolina fan, nothing else ever mattered after 2022.
You see,
that's
don't
not
know.
the deal you make.
But
Bo.
here's
I'm
the thing.
telling you.
Here's the thing about that.
I'm telling you.
I was on the same page, but then after you burn that cigarette after the wonderful night that you had twice over, right? You kind of deal with the cold reality of life moves on, right? And I think last year was a little bit of a weird reset when they don't make the tournament and John Shire's looking like he's running shit and he's getting Cooper flagged. They're winning the ACC championship. And you're like, whoa, okay. I can, in a K conversation, I can use that as my final trump card, right? Like if I just want to get one over on K, I'm good. But life moves on, man. Life moves on.
Including at your own program.
Yeah.
Wow. That's weird. You don't have a Hall of Fame coach anymore. Wow.
Nothing. Like, I get you. You're right. All those things are true. I'm not immersed in this anymore, so I don't look at it the same way. But for me, nothing even matters. Like this is like I put it like this.
Your personal bias. Of
I'll put it like this.
hey,
That rivalry is
every
over.
good black team ever that you laid out on the
That's
show.
right.
Like,
That's right. And that rivalry is over.
First down and UNLV. Like, what are we doing, man? Why?
Yeah, that rivalry is done. Like they might start a new rivalry with Carolina and Duke. Like something else might pop up, but that rivalry is over. Billy Packer could say it. Over.
Yeah.
It is over.
But you can say this about Kay, and you can say this about Roy. They had the transition right. You saw what happened at Kentucky. Kentucky's going to go through their own.
They just had their Sidney Lowe search.
Seriously.
Well, of course, their transition is going to be different. They basically fired their guy.
Yeah,
like
but
that's not.
Well, you could look, man. The point being that Kentucky is in a weird spot where there's like no Cal lineage. There's no like Kentucky guy you can kind of tap into.
They couldn't even pay Nate Oates enough to leave Alabama
come
of all places.
Come on.
That's embarrassing, Bo.
I thought it was embarrassing.
In our lifetime, Kentucky basketball couldn't get Alabama's basketball coach.
No, I think that they could have jumped up the money. Like Cal made things weird with the money and everything else, but I feel like there is no Cal lineage. Maybe there is. Like they could have brought in Orlando. You know, Kenny Payne went and messed it up when he went to the to Louisville, and now he's going to Arkansas. By the way, the problem is they didn't want no lineage of K. They wanted all of it done. Over finito. It just reached that point. It was a more contentious version of Shaka Smart at Texas. Just like, hey man, you might be good at this, but you're not good for us.
We're tired of you. And on some levels, I don't blame Kentucky fans for being over Cal because he did not really handle the post. I think Duke winning in 15 kind of broke him. And like, oh, your shit's not as unique as you thought it was. And then he never really adapted while everybody else adapted. And now we're here. I don't think it's going to work out at Arkansas.
I think Luke May broke him more than Duke thing, than the Duke game.
And that's where we come full circle. It all comes back to the May family.
Yes.
It all comes back to the May family. All right, Bomani, appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, now.
Row back. You don't know me like that. I don't even know my size, actually. So here's the cool thing about Rowback. Check them out online, rowback.com, RHO-back.com. Use the promo code OG20. I thought I could still fit into large shorts. I was incorrect. No big deal. Packing slip, send it back, get it right. Customer service is always key. So I sized up to an extra large. I also got the gym shorts too. It's like to do yard work in and whatnot. Okay. Skies out, thighs out, Joe. Just wait. Once we get to late May, June, I mean, it's going to be glorious up in this room. Okay? Just saying. You don't really do shorts, do you?
I mean, I do, but I like my pants.
Yeah, you like pants.
Yeah.
I prefer shorts. That's the Florida coming out.
Yes.
I prefer the shorts.
Well,
I prefer the shorts.
Here's the thing. Like, you might see Rowback, and they really do have great golf shirts.
Yes.
At the risk of promoting their fastball, they have unbelievable golf shirts. But the truth is, they have a lot more than that.
They do. They have everyday shorts, which is what I'm looking for.
They have pants, they have shorts, they have hoodies, all great. And they have hats, a great selection of different designs as well. So when you use that promo code OG20, you save 20%. So go to rowback.com. That's RHO back.com.
Big thanks to Hometown Realty. Check them out online, myhtr.com. Buy, sell, calculate. I keep hearing about guaranteed offers, websites you can go in, plug it all in. They don't know the market. It's people, feet on the ground, understanding what the market's about and maximizing the value of your home. And that's where Hometown Realty comes in. So go check them out at myhtr.com. Also, big thanks to Butcher's Market. Check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. I'm guessing we're going to have another wonderful tailgate opportunity on a weekend. Butcher's Market can get it done. Or maybe you don't have time to tailgate, but you still want to grill and do the whole spread, but you still want to enjoy some time in the parking lot before you go in. Sandwiches on Lake Boone come in clutch.
I was going to say the Lake Boone location really shaping up. They're going to have what amounts to a grand reopening as soon as the construction in that parking lot is done. And by the looks of it, it will be soon, sir. So go check them out over on Lake Boone, all of their different locations. It might be a hot dog kind of day for me. I'm not going to lie to you.
Love it. She's in the island celebrating 5 years of marriage. Then she's in Delray getting her bachelorette party on. And now she's back in wonderful Pittsburgh. It's Brooke Pryor, ESPN. That's a little bit of whiplash there, Brooke. All
It
these
really-
places.
It is. You know what, though? When I was filming my hits yesterday outside of the Steelers facility, the sun was shining. It was 60 degrees instead of 80, but like I felt like I was on the coast. I was in between the Steelers facility and the river. So really, it's like I was still at the beach.
It's the same thing.
It's what everyone says. Pittsburgh is the Caribbean of the upper Appalachian region.
You need to come back to the Triangle because Mike Tomlin's going to be here doing something with Lavelle Moten in a couple weeks.
He sure is. And you want to know the smallest world ever? I took an Uber from my house in North Carolina to the airport last week and got chatting with my Uber driver and, mentioned that I was eventually going to Pittsburgh. I cover the Steelers. And, he said, Mike Tomlin has a cousin that lives in East Carolina, and continued to talk. He said, Lavelle Moten's good friends with Mike Tomlin. I said, oh yeah, I know Lavelle Moten. I used to cover NC Central. And he said, well, you must know my daughter. And I said, and who is she? And he said, oh, Ingrid Wicker McCree, the former athletic director. I was like, well, yes, I do know your daughter. She's amazing. So Floyd, amazing. He's retired. Her dad, he said he just, wanted to get out of the house and talk to people. And so he's driving Ubers. And he was lovely. Best ride to the airport I've ever had.
I love it. All right, let's get serious because we know when it's draft week. Day 2.
Do we have to?
We have to have a day, Joe. Come on. It's
right.
earned, not given on draft week.
Your colleague really got me going, Brooke, yesterday when he tweeted out bright and early, Dan Orlovsky, about he had a cross country slogan, and then he had what really got me was it's day 1 of draft week,
not draft day,
not draft day. Not
draft
the draft
week.
Draft week. I was like, okay.
Listen, this week, in some ways, I can't believe it's already here. And in some ways, I can't believe that it took this long to get here. And it feels like it's going to take 5 years between now and Thursday. The amount of, this is like the height of lying season. Like, believe absolutely nothing you hear over the next 72 hours, because it's all of the takes, all of the opinions, all of the rumors. Everybody's got to fire them off before they become irrelevant, before everyone gets exposed by old takes exposed. We just got to get it all out there. So believe nothing, and I'm just trying to lay as low as possible until the Steelers are on the clock with the 20th pick, or maybe they'll trade up again because Omar Khan he doesn't need to sit on his hands, because I think the Steelers fans, and it's been better for the organization when he does wheel and deal, but like he gets like an itch and just he needs to do something. So I'm not gonna really like fire on all cylinders until 7 p.m. Thursday night when the draft starts.
I'm with you that it's lying season, which I have to remind myself when I see conversations around Drake May. We were talking about this with Bomani earlier in the weird conversation around Drake May. And then you've got JJ McCarthy discourse taking place as well about, what kind of quarterback he can be and the championship caliber and all this other stuff. And I want to get mad at it, but then I have to remember, no, this is just the stuff they put out there to potentially affect where things go. Right down to Jaden Daniels potentially not wanting to be in Washington and Topgolf all tying into this some way, somehow. It's just a weird week.
It really is. And the JJ McCarthy discourse reminds me a lot of the Kenny Pickett discourse from a couple of years ago. Like to me, it feels like there's a lot of people trying to convince themselves that JJ McCarthy can be a difference maker in the NFL. And like, maybe he can be, right? But it just feels like there's a lot of, because there's so much talking conversation, it's like, I feel like you're trying to influence me and make me change my mind to say, you know what? Maybe it's okay that he's a game manager. Maybe it's okay that his biggest perk is that he doesn't make mistakes and that he just facilitates everyone else, which that is your job as a quarterback, but also the way that quarterbacking is going in the NFL, like you need to be a difference maker. Like you need to be Patrick Mahomes, although no one is Patrick Mahomes, but it's so interesting the hard sell that we're getting on McCarthy. And I don't know if I buy it. I think it would work if a team like the Steelers needed him, which is wild because I feel like we're just now coming out of that Kenny Pickett era. But like if he got drafted to a team that had a really strong defense and like all you needed to do offensively was just not screw up and you had an identity in the run game and that was your thing, sure. But as a top 5 pick, a top 6 pick, what are we doing? To me, that's crazy.
It just feels like the whole top 10 is going to be quarterbacks at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Like and we've seen this before where teams reach, but it just feels like no one wants to learn any of the lessons from drafts past, whether it's teams, whether it's analysts, whether it's fans, like you're saying about the lying season and what you should believe and what you don't. The number of people who text me and are like, Drake May, I heard this about Drake May. And what do you think about Drake May? And I'm like, again, I think he's going to be in the NFL for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to sit here and make the mistake of comparing him to Mitch Trubisky, that's on you. It's just as it was a mistake for people to be like, oh, CJ Stroud, he's not going to make it because, no one from Ohio State's ever made it.
I mean, the other reality is there's no position more fun to talk about than quarterbacks.
Right.
And this is like such a boon for everyone involved in the NFL, from us in the media to the fans to the teams. Like when I was at the combine and at owners meetings, the only position that people were talking about were the quarterbacks being drafted, were Kenny Pickett, were Russell Wilson, like all of those moving pieces in the quarterback situation is just like, I mean, it's like Christmas for times 10, because we don't have to get into like the nitty gritty of all the other skill positions. We don't have to, for a month pretend that we're all excited about the offensive linemen and break down O-line tape. Don't get me wrong. I love the O-linemen.
Review, by the way.
Do what?
I mean, it used to be like, oh, we're going to take Joe Thomas, top of the draft. He'll be my left tackle forever. Like even that doesn't seem to be a given. That 2 years ago with the Icky draft, Cross and all those other guys, they're all kind of a mixed bag right now. And when I mean mixed bag, I'm saying you wasted a freaking first round pick.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of that goes back to the conversations I've had with college coaches and NFL coaches in particular, talking about how the way that the college game is evolving, offensive linemen are not as pro ready as they used to be, especially when you talk to guys that are in the league right now, talking about the rookies that come in. The learning curve is so much steeper because of the style that's played in college. They're not ready to do what's being asked in the pro game. And so I think that's where when you draft a guy in the first round, it used to be, like you said, Joe Thomas, you come in, you plug him right in, he's ready to go. But that is becoming more and more rare because the college game just isn't as physical. The passing concepts are different. It's not translating the same. And I think it's made grading offensive linemen that much more difficult. And there's no patience in the NFL, which is what's happening with the quarterbacks. I mean, going back to that conversation, like if, Jaden Daniels does go to the Commanders and he comes out and doesn't play well the first, 5-6 games of the season, everybody's going to lose their minds. The organization's going to lose their minds, the fans. There's zero patience.
Well, I think the collective bargaining for first round draft picks and having that rookie wage scale allows for teams to just take a flyer on a QB. And if they hit, all right, well, then we have this window where we can spend money around them before we have to start making decisions about the quarterback and then go in a different direction of trying to win again. So I think that kind of, it almost is a disservice to people want to talk about the lack of quarterback development. And we've talked about this before. I mean, heck, we talked about it with Bomani, I think last summer, where it was whatever happened to the career backup quarterback. Like there used to be like a good backup quarterback. You can't even get a good backup quarterback anymore. And you just cycle through these guys because they just can't preserve. And then you end up with a Zach Wilson getting traded to the Denver Broncos, which I'm still kind of confused by. But I mean, that's either here nor there.
Do you think maybe he can live in Russell Wilson's house? Do you think maybe he can? I don't think it's sold. So he could just live in one wing and no one would know.
I am convinced, and I'm going to die on this hill. I am convinced that Sean Payton made this deal to get Zach Wilson as an FU to Nathaniel Hackett.
Probably.
Like
they're all so petty. And the NFL is so petty.
And Sean Payton is the pettiest of coaches that I could see him being like, I'm going to turn him into something in Denver that you couldn't do in New York while you're stuck with Aaron Rodgers.
I sat here yesterday and I told you the one thing the Panthers can't do is make a trade for a retread, top 3 quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Sean Payton does.
Yes.
It's embarrassing.
Football genius.
It's embarrassing.
It is very embarrassing.
He's a really good coach, but that's embarrassing.
Which gets to every year at the draft, Brooke, there seems to be something that happens outside the conference room that ends up generating a lot of discourse. Maybe a quarterback says something. Maybe a coach. I mean, who knows what it is. Is it going to be quiet this year, or is there something kind of bubbling under the surface that we're just waiting for the right moment for Schefter to go on ESPN and be like, my sources are telling me, ...
Yeah, are you referring to Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago? I see it vividly in my mind where they were sitting on the set in Vegas, and I think it was a Rodgers thing, but yes, I know. Yes, it does feel like it's not going to be quiet, right? Like there's been already so much drama with the quarterbacks. What's a little bit more with
one of them's going to sit in that room for a minute.
Something's going to pop off. I just hope it's not with the team that I cover because they've had enough drama. So I think that hopefully they're done. I'm trying to think where, a Brandon Ayuk trade would not shock me. Okay. Only because there's so much smoke with that. It's either going to be like an Ayuk trade or a massive extension, or he's going to pop off on Instagram. Like while everybody's focused over here on the draft, Ayuk's going to be like, it's my time to shine. Let's make this about me. Let's get paid.
See, Brooke, it's sitting right there. It is sitting right there. I'm actually waiting for Taylor Swift to have an opinion on what the Kansas City Chiefs did at the draft. That's what I'm waiting on. I mean, she's already posting videos with Travis Kelce.
Doesn't even matter. They're just going to win with me playing receiver.
This is true too.
We don't need the best receiver.
But I just need Taylor Swift to do like an Instagram story about a pick, and then we'll go from there.
What I want is if we're going to bring Taylor Swift into this conversation, which I wasn't going to bring up. I keep my church friends and my school friends separate, so I keep my Taylor Swift things to the side when I'm talking.
Hey, this is a Taylor Swift safe space.
You're right. I have the Tortured Poets department on my record player right now.
Nice.
Because I am old school and cool. But what if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement on night 1 of the NFL draft?
Oh,
that's definitely
how incredible would that be?
That would be. I like that.
That's what I want.
This whole album was putting to bed that time of her life. So now it's time for the new. This could be it.
Now she can move forward.
This could be it. I like where your head's at with this.
I don't think her contract with the NFL allows her to usurp other events.
But maybe that's been the long game. Maybe she got so ingrained so that she could then take them down from the inside, like a sleeper agent.
Look out for that.
Then she's going to activate all the Swifties, and we all really will drown out all the draft discourse on Twitter or X or whatever, and it's only going to be Travis and Taylor.
Well, Brooke, hopefully you'll have a drama-free draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hopefully they don't draft a quarterback that you then have to run to Russell Wilson to get his opinion on, what does this mean for competition, that kind of stuff. I don't know. They draft Bo Nix. I have no idea.
Don't put that on me. No, Omar Khan said, we talked with him yesterday. He said, we are not going to draft a quarterback in the first round. So now they'll probably trade up to the top 5 and draft J.J. McCarthy now that I've absolutely flamed him.
The hell are they going to do a quarterback? They got 2 of them.
They have 3. Put some respect on Kyle Allen's name. My goodness.
They
like to go into camp with 4. So, they're collecting them like Infinity Stones.
Did they finally tell Mason Rudolph to go run some drills for Matt Canada in a parking lot somewhere?
Mason Rudolph said, I am done in Pittsburgh. He is in Tennessee, where he's going to thrive on and off the field. I've never met a man more made for the Broadway scene than Mason Rudolph. He's either going to be on The Bachelorette, dating someone from the Bachelorette universe, or becoming the starting quarterback of the Tennessee Titans. Those are the 3 options.
The fact that there's a universe we're just going to close on that.
How is Kyle Allen still in the NFL?
I mean,
and you thought backup quarterbacks were dead.
Yeah, look, I mean, we live in a world. Well, how long did Nathan Peterman last on our roster?
The Peterman.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is just kind of the NFL.
He might still be on a roster. We don't know. He could be on a roster somewhere. The XFL's a roster.
Now you
The
have
UFL, what's it called?
Yeah, I think it's the UFL.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I got my letters wrong.
He apparently is with the Saints right now, according to Wikipedia.
And that's never wrong.
Nathan Peterman. Yeah. He's with he is with the Saints as of right now. So there you go. So still
here's the thing. We could all aspire to have a Nathan Peterman like career, right?
Yeah. Just cash check. All right. You gotta go. You gotta go.
I do gotta go. I am dying because I'm just so excited about the draft.
I know. Go hydrate. We will talk to you later. Have a good draft, Brooke.
Thanks, guys.
Always love catching up with Brooke. I love getting ice cream. Maybe you wanted to celebrate a big win last night with some ice cream today. Maybe you've got a kid with braces and they're struggling right now because they just had the braces applied and it's tough for them to eat. And they had to have a bracket replaced because they're not chewing properly. They're eating too much. And you're like, you know what? It's ice cream diet time for you. You know what you do? You then go to Two Roosters and you get some ice cream because that's really easy to digest and swallow, deal with the braces. So go to Roosters. Can you tell that I'm dealing with some parent stuff today?
Yeah.
I'm just kind of going through it.
Yeah.
But go to Two Roosters, tworoosters.com. Stormy Tracks. Let's go.
They're at the arena. They're also at the Lake Boone OG Epicenter, downtown, off a person. Listen, the ice cream is unbelievable. You might be tired of me talking about the coffee bourbon flavor. So just try one of the other flavors. Strawberry honey right now is one of the other flavors too. Go decide for yourself. That's the best part.
Big
Too
thanks.
many options.
Big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out online, bugsbite.com. You can bundle and save while you take care of your outside treatment. This is the time now, right? As things are going to start warming up, you're going to be spending some more time outside. As May approaches, you don't want mosquitoes ruining it for you, so start the treatments now. You can do month to month, your treatment to treatment, or you can bundle and save. There's all sorts of ways to do it because Hayes and the crew do not believe in contracts. So you do what's good for you, and they'll take care of you. So head on over to bugsbite.com. Speaking of saving money, that's what Matt Davis can do for you at State Farm. Matt Davis, InsureGarner.com, TheOGInsurance.com, or call him directly at 919-779-8277. If you're watching on YouTube, Joe's got the card up. You can hold your phone up, hit that QR code. It'll take you directly to Matt Davis. Home, auto, bundle, save. That's what it's all about. Joe,
sir,
did you think we would do a podcast without the lightning round? You heard me. The lightning round? Ka-chow. I added a new sound effect. I looked up 80s lightning sounds. That's pretty good.
Sounds like a Garth Brooks.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? A little bit. All right, let's get to
lightning round item number 1.
You read the Ross Dellinger Yahoo Sports piece, correct?
I did.
Yeah, so this is on Yahoo, came out yesterday. It was another post-mortem on how we got to the current state of the college football playoff. And I had two takeaways, ultimately. It was positioned with Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, and the first go-round of trying to expand the college football playoff and coming out with a system that would work for everybody. But that pesky alliance got in the way. And Greg Sankey told himself, he looked at himself in the mirror and he said, you go in there and you make it about yourself. You go in there and you make yourself the king of college football. And that's what Greg Sankey did. He's like, I'm never taking a bad deal again. So this is what it is, or I'm walking away. And Ross Dellinger apparently asked Greg Sankey, was that a real threat? He's like, absolutely. It was an interesting note that of the alliance, there's only one commissioner left from the alliance, as Kevin Warren left for the Chicago Bears, and George Kliavkoff is just got out. They got him out the paint because they didn't like the way he was handling things with the Pac-12. So I think Jim Phillips, ACC commissioner, who was quoted in this piece, kind of understood and read the room of, all right, man, this is kind of how it's going to be. So we're going to have to make it as equitable as possible for us. Brett Yormark said the same thing, Big 12 commissioner. I don't necessarily like the terms of the deal. Yes, it creates a financial imbalance, but what are you going to do? And here we are. But again, I'm left with one question. Do they realize, or is it too late to have realized that you've essentially made Greg Sankey the czar of football? And is that what you really want? Which gets to another piece in the story, which we'll get to in a second. But that was my immediate takeaway. Like, these idiots let Greg Sankey become the czar of college football.
Yeah, Jim Phillips made a play with the alliance. It didn't work, and now you're paying the price for it.
It's a little Game of Thrones-ish, right?
It's called leverage.
A little Game of Thrones.
You have none of it.
Yeah. The chaos is a ladder. You thought you were going to be moving up. It didn't work out for you. And then now the Lannisters are coming to collect their debts, right?
Pretty much. I mean, mistakes were made. It never made sense to me at the time. It doesn't make sense now.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with Greg Sankey's position. I also don't disagree with taking what's available to you now. They should have taken available what was to them before.
Yeah.
And that's where the mistake was made.
Well, now this gets to the other part of the Ross Dellinger piece that I found interesting.
Lightning round.
The super conference conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And Bubba Cunningham, AD at North Carolina, was quoted in this. And I've been pointing this out ever since John Orand at Puck News had a blurb about this think tank group that wants to change the nature of college football, create college football super conferences, let the conferences be a little bit more regional for all the other sports. I do wonder if those in play are looking at what's happened where the SEC is just going to continue to do things that are in the best interest of the SEC.
As they should, by the way.
As they should. I'm not faulting them.
Yeah.
But at some point, everybody else has to push back, has to try to wrest some of that back. And I'm going to be curious to see if the think tank, this group that has professional team ownership involved, can pool together with television saying, look, why do you want to limit this in college football to just SEC teams? Why wouldn't you want regular season matchups from the biggest brands all the time in the regular season and watch the numbers go up? And it becomes a little bit more equitable that way. I mean, I think we're years away from that, but I do wonder if we could ever talk to Bubba and get like truth serum answers from it, is whether or not this think tank really is another form of an alliance with money behind it. Like people that are outside college football and the infrastructure of the lifers that are trying to like have an honor amongst thieves. Whereas this is a pure business play. We talk every day. I looked them in the eye sockets. With the professional owners, they're looking at this at the bottom line, and they're looking at brands. So I'd be curious to see what their play is on that. Speaking of the ACC,
lightning round item number 3.
We have another court update between the ACC and Florida State. This was the North Carolina judge. No, this is the Tallahassee judge.
Yeah.
I can't keep track, man. All I know is that it made headlines yesterday that the judge said, you two get in a room and you mediate. All right? Because I don't want to deal with this crap. You guys work it out. Of course, neither the ACC or Florida State wants to work it out. This seems like it's a matter of procedure. Even the judge said it. He's like, I do this in most cases. So we'll be right back here arguing the same things, where the ACC wants to keep their trade secrets. They don't want broadcast details getting out. They don't want to pay they don't want to receive some sort of reduced fee. Florida State's like, no, let's put this all out there. We want to make the ACC look bad. We want to pay a lower price, if nothing at all, so we can go do what we want to do. And that's where we are. And I keep saying this. It was never going to be a quick resolution.
Right.
It just was not going to be a quick resolution ever. But here we are. So that's the lightning round. All right, before we get out of here, let's go into the YouTube comment section from last night's OG After Dark. From M. Davis, really like the post game. Great audio, great questions. See, Joe? Great questions. Unedited with F-bombs and everything. From Fran, I read Brendan Moore's lips during the timeout. He called. He said, you boys pull this off. I'm taking everyone to Chuck E. Cheese tomorrow. Capri Suns for everybody. From Kumar, honestly, I don't think any fans were actually worried. We did get quiet in the second after the third goal, but a few minutes later, the crowd was hyped again. And let's see. Oh, from Seance. We figured out the audio issue late in the situation. Oak City Okie Doke as a possible headline for what we saw yesterday. I mean, look, I think to say that fans weren't worried is a little bit of an overstatement. I think, and I said this last night.
It was 3-0 in a hockey game that you were dominating. Like,
yeah, it's 3-0 in a hockey game, and you're thinking we've seen this before.
Yes,
that's the worry.
Yes,
that's the worry. The Canes provided. They broke through. It was great to see. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. We will see y'all on Wednesday.